the sea is blue. We've seen it in the movies. Now let's see if it's true. Everybody had a summer holiday, doing things they always wanted to. So we're going on a summer holiday.
The call came in this morning to Eaglestone Police Station to report the death of a young male who had allegedly fallen off a cliff above Angel Bay. Myself, Inspector Craddock, and WPC Jules were assigned to the case. On arrival at the cliff, we found his 4 companions who had camped on a field near to Angel Bay. We asked them to accompany us to the cricket pavilion for questioning. Constable, I shall need to take statements from anyone who may have witnessed the fall.
I will need the names of everyone who was present on the camping trip and who may have seen what happened.
Let's start with you.
I'm Sally Bones, John's wife.
John is our victim.
Yeah, John Bones.
Right. What did you see and hear then?
Well, I heard a scream from Vicky. She was shouting John had gone over the cliff, but I didn't see anything.
Where were you?
I'd gone back to our tent after an argument with John.
And what was this argument about?
He was flirting with Vicky again, like he always did. It was the same last night too, around the campfire. Then he starts boasting about what he can do. I hate that when he does that. I wouldn't mind, but he's always bragging about his fancy cars and his jet-set holidays. And in reality, he's broke. He's always borrowing money from me. Last month, he even told me he'd taken out £1 million life insurance on himself. Ha, that's a joke. I usually take no notice, but I'd had enough. And he's caused some pretty bad feelings between Vicky and her boyfriend Tom with his suggestions.
Tom?
I'm Tom Fletcher.
And what's your account of events, sir?
Well, we were going along the cliff looking for the spots of fish when John found a coil of rope. We decided it'd be good for fun to have a tug of war. John won as usual. Typical. He boasted he was the best at everything he did. Fitness fanatic.
How did you feel about the attention he gave your girlfriend?
Oh, he was always flirting with Vicky, you know, innuendos. I hated it, but I knew it was just the way he was. It was just banter with him.
Did John's behaviour upset his wife?
Sally wasn't impressed at all. Disappeared before we carried on walking. I think she said she was going back to her tent.
Does anyone care to tell me what this trip was all about?
I'll tell you.
And you are?
My name's Vicky Davis. We were all on a weekend break from work. We've been in lockdown because of the COVID thing. When they said we could travel round a bit, the guys wanted to get away and get some fresh air. So we camped in a remote field near the cliff so that they could go fishing the next day.
What happened?
Well, John was his typical self, wanting to do everything. He found this coil of rope and decided to tie one end round a tree and dared Tom to lower himself down onto one of the next ledges. He called us all chickens because we wouldn't do it. When we left him, he was tying the rope round his waist.
You?
I'm Paul Williams, and I'm an old friend of Sally. We've known each other since uni.
That's how you came to know John?
Well, I never had much to do with John. I've met him a few times. Sally asked if I fancied this trip, and after lockdown, and I thought it'd be a nice change.
So when you say you didn't have much to do with John, did you like him?
Well, I didn't like the way he treated Sally, always flirting with other women. She deserves better. This weekend, He was really doing my head in. I didn't want to hear about his bloody conquest and how fit he is.
What happened?
Well, we quickly lost sight of John because of the bushes along the top of the cliff. Tom went in behind the bushes for a wee. He was desperate. Oh, I thought I saw a puffin. So I rushed to the car to get my binoculars. Next thing I heard was a sort of scream. We all ran back to where we'd seen John. The rope had gone, and so had John. Oh, Tom got to the edge first and shouted, "Oh God, it's John! He's fallen! Get help!" Vicky was hysterical. Oh, and ran round towards the tent screaming to get help. You see, while Tom ran down the coastal path to the beach, I ran to the farm nearby to phone the emergency services. You see, our mobiles weren't picking up any of the signals.
Well, how long you were gone?
Well, maybe 5 minutes. When I got back to the tents, the others were there and I could hear sirens coming our way.
So, Tom, you found the body?
Yeah, it was awful. God, he was just lying there, face down. I mean, the rope was still tied round him. I could tell he was gone.
So you could see the knot was still in place.
Yeah, it was a bowline.
Must have been a shock.
Cool, yeah.
What did you do then?
Well, that was nothing I could do. So I went back to the tents and the others were there. I could hear the sirens.
Interesting. Could be a simple accident. Perhaps John didn't tie the knot correctly when he secured the rope to that tree. Or perhaps his faculties were impaired. Had you been drinking last night?
I think John was still a bit drunk from last night. We all drank too much, and maybe things got a bit too raunchy. Well, these things happen at parties, and we were all desperate for a good time after the lockdown. I felt dreadful this morning, and if he felt anything like me, he could have made a mistake.
I'm not too sure about that. You see, he seemed totally sober at breakfast. Everyone else was suffering with a hangover. Oh, but he was as bright as a button, bragging about the 100 press-ups he'd done before breakfast. Oh, annoying, as usual. Oh, sorry, I suppose I shouldn't speak ill of. Yeah.
Yeah, he did have a very strict exercise regime. Oh, and a lovely physique. It's good to see a man that looks after himself.
So, it was quite some party last night.
Yeah, I think John laced the drinks with something though. We were all drinking from the same jug. It was one of John's cocktails, you know. Fruit juice, fruit booze and ice. John always liked to be the party host, and everyone had a large glass of his special cocktail. John whizzed his drink down in seconds, whereas the rest of us took ages. Oh, it seemed silly drinking it down in one go. But boy, did we feel ill afterwards when we eventually finished it. John was eager to have another one, but I decided to head for bed. I mean, Paul and Sally also went off to their tents, leaving Vicky and John by the campfire.
Yeah, that's right. It was a beautiful night, and John was good company. It was amazing watching the stars lying on my back with just the campfire crackling away. I think I must have gone to my tent about 2 a.m. I don't remember much after that drink. I asked John about it this morning and he was really vague and standoffish. A bit cold, really.
That's typical of John. Stone cold sober, all the rest of us are smashed. He drank from the same jug, but it had very little effect on him. But Tom, well, he was so drunk that there was a pile of sick outside his tent this morning. Ugh.
Is that right, sir?
Well, yeah, but, you know, when I lay down, everything was spinning. After a while, I stuck my head out of the tent and I was really sick. Then I finally got to sleep.
I thought I heard some strange noises, but it was all so hazy.
I see.
Well, I think we need to pack up our tents and leave, you see. It looks like the police have the matter in hand. None of us saw John go over the cliff, so we can't be any more help. And it was obvious, it was just an accident. If you need any help, Sally, I can take your tent down and drive you home.
Yeah, I agree. I need to get back home. It's been a very upsetting weekend, and I need to sleep this hangover off in a nice comfy bed.
That's typical. You spend most of your time on your back while the rest of us are at work.
You're right, Paul. It's been a terrible accident. I just want to get out of here now. I'm sure the inspector has all of the information he needs from us.
Constable, I feel I have all the evidence I need now to complete my report back in the station. We'll need everyone's addresses because we will be contacting them again.
Have you worked it out, Inspector? Do we need the forensics team?
No. The answer to who broke Bones is quite simple. Can you solve the mystery? Was it an accident or murder? And if it was murder, who done it, how, and why?